is Kyle Cortney. I am the Associate Director for University Advising at Amerigo. My background has been working in college admissions as well as university advising for students and families for over 10 years now. Really, the biggest challenge is just the selectivity of the universities in the United States, and at certain universities there are an even more limited number of spaces for international students. It's really just understanding all of the nuances of the application process, understanding what they need to do in order to be competitive for these universities which have extremely low acceptance rates, and then also ensuring that they have a large enough list of universities that span a range of selectivity so that they will have options when it comes to the end of the application process. I think that one of the biggest misconceptions or misunderstandings of the U.S. application process are how many things a university admissions officer looks at the application. The United States is rather unique in that our admission to universities is not simply based on grades and test scores. There is a large emphasis placed on what we call holistic admission, or looking at the whole student and what they would add to the university. So they are going to consider essays, they are going to consider letters of recommendation from teachers at the high school, and they also consider a student's involvement outside of the classroom. So looking at extracurricular activities, clubs and organizations that the student is involved in, even just individual interests and how they spend their time outside of the classroom. And all of those things are just as important as the test scores and the grades when it comes to admission to a U.S. university. So one of the biggest changes that we've seen in the U.S. application process is the elimination of standardized test scores as part of the application process. So where students used to have to submit SAT or ACT scores, that is no longer a requirement for the vast majority of universities in the United States, which means that there's an even stronger emphasis placed on the non-academic qualities of a student. So the extracurricular activities that the student is involved in, the essays that they are writing as part of the application process. I also believe that showing interest in a university or knowing why an applicant may be a good fit for a certain school is a really large piece of the admissions process. Because universities are seeing tens of thousands of applications for a very small number of spots, they really pay attention to students who can demonstrate an understanding of why that university is a great fit for them. And they do that through their essays. So students need to be spending a lot of time researching the schools, understanding what makes one university different from another university, and then are able to articulate that as part of their application. We love for students to start as early as possible with the application process. Even starting in 9th grade, students can begin to think about their academic journey in terms of the courses that they will be taking throughout high school, and ensuring that they are taking the appropriate classes so that they can get to the highest level of course at their high school, whether that's an AP course or an IB course or an honors level, as well as getting involved in clubs and organizations to start to build that extracurricular profile. But truly, the college application process begins in junior year, in grade 11. That is really when students need to buckle down and need to start thinking very seriously about their application process. By the time they get to grade 12, it's a little bit too late to begin. So they really need to begin researching colleges, putting together essays, finalizing their extracurricular activities, rounding out their resume, and doing well in their classes. And all of that really is completed by the end of grade 11. So there are two different types of scholarships that are offered by universities. There are need-based scholarships and merit scholarships. Need-based scholarships are for students whose family income is lower than what would be needed in order to cover the cost of tuition at a university. And need-based scholarships are very challenging to find for international students because they are not going to qualify for funding from the US government, which is the main source of need-based financial aid from the majority of US universities. But there's a very small number of universities in the US that do provide need-based financial aid for international students. So if that is something that a student was looking for, we would be able to provide them with a list of those universities and guide them in that application process. Merit scholarships are the ones that more of our students are targeting, and those are scholarships that are awarded either based upon a student's academic achievements, their involvement in extracurricular activities, and those are still very challenging for international students to receive because they truly need to be at the top of the applicant pool for that particular university in order to qualify for those. But Amerigo does take a number of steps to help as many students as possible receive these merit scholarships. One way we do this is through our Amerigo University Partners, which are a group of schools that have committed themselves to providing more generous scholarships to international students. And some of them also do have exclusive scholarships for Amerigo students. So we can guide our students to applying to our partner schools. We can communicate with the admissions officers there to let them know about our applicants from the Amerigo program, and they are able to give them extra consideration for scholarships at the universities. And of course, through the Advantage program, the fact that we are focusing on ensuring that our students are building profiles that are going to be competitive for US universities, that means that our students are more likely to receive scholarships because they are going to be presenting stronger applications. I would say to just take things in small steps. It's very manageable if students are able to work slowly and methodically through the process. I really think that the best place to start is with college research, especially if students are feeling overwhelmed by the number of choices, and it is overwhelming. There's almost 4,000 universities to choose from within the United States. So what I recommend that students do is try to tackle just 3 universities a month, right? Spend time going on their websites. And the great thing that happened as a result of COVID is that now universities have a number of online programs that they offer to students. So they can attend virtual information sessions, they can do virtual campus tours with these universities. That's going to help them to start to figure out what their priorities are, what is important to them in the college experience, and to also figure out perhaps things that do not seem as appealing to them that they may hear about a particular university. I think that the more that a student is able to determine what their priorities are, what it is that they hope to have at their future university, the easier it will be for us as Amerigo staff to then give them additional suggestions of universities that would be a good fit and to guide them through the university process.